Dear students, welcome to this class. In this class, we are going to discuss about LEM diagram. LEM diagram is used to predict whether a metal can be extracted from its metal oxide ore or not. Well, LEM diagram is used to predict whether the decomposition of a metal oxide into its metal by using the reducing agent at the given temperature or not. Right, now let us consider the reduction of a metal oxide by using a reducing agent carbon into its metal. So here the metal oxide is converted into metal by using the reducing agent carbon. Right, now the LEM diagram is used to predict whether this reaction is possible at the given temperature or not. Right, the LEM diagram is based on Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is derived from thermodynamics. It's a simple form of Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is taken here. The Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is given as delta G is equal to delta H minus T into delta S. We'll see what is delta G, what is delta H, and what is delta S later. But here T stands for the temperature, and whether at this temperature whether the reaction is feasible or not we can predict from the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. Right. So now what is this Gibbs-Helmholtz equation? This Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is used to predict whether any reaction is possible or not. But what about LEM diagram? LEM diagram is used to predict whether a metal oxide can be converted into its metal or not. But Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is used to predict whether the given reaction, any type of chemical reaction will take place or not. Right, now let us see Gibbs-Helmholtz equation in detail. We know the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is delta G, which is equal to delta H minus T into delta S. Right, now what is delta G? Delta G is the change in the free energy of the reaction. Free energy is nothing but the minimum energy required to carry out a reaction. Right. Delta H is the change in the enthalpy of the reaction. Enthalpy refers the heat content present in the system. And finally, delta S refers the change in the entropy of the reaction. Entropy is nothing but the disorderliness or irregularity present in a system. Right. So now we are having delta G that is equated to delta H and T delta S by this simple relation. So now delta G can have three values based on delta H and T into delta S. Right. The first condition is if delta G is negative. When the delta G becomes negative, if suppose delta H is greater than T delta S, then delta G becomes negative. So if delta G is negative, then the reaction is possible. Suppose if you want to predict whether a reaction is possible or not, then look for the delta G. If delta G is negative, then the reaction is possible. When the reaction is possible, if delta H is less than T delta S. Right. Similarly, if delta G is positive means what? In this condition, delta H should be greater than T delta S. So if suppose delta H is greater than T delta S, then the reaction is not possible. The reaction is not possible. Right. Finally, one more condition is there. What about delta H which is equal to T delta S, then naturally delta G becomes 0. So in this case the reaction is in equilibrium, right? So what we require is, to predict a reaction we have to look the delta G. If the delta G is negative, then the reaction is possible. If delta G is positive, the reaction is not possible. Right, now let us see element diagram in detail. Element diagram is a plot between delta G versus temperature for the formation of metal oxide. Now down, this diagram is drawn for the formation of metal oxide. This plot is for the formation of metal oxide from the metal. Right. Actually what we require is, we are going to see the extraction of metal oxide into metal, but the element diagram is drawn for the formation of the metal oxide. Right. Here the delta G is taken in the y-axis and the temperature is taken in the x-axis. Right. Here this temperature, that is temperature T0, denotes where the delta G becomes 0. Now we are having two conditions. If suppose the given temperature is greater than T0, then delta G becomes positive. Say for example, let us take a point at here at the upper segment. Now let us take the temperature here. So the temperature, let us take the temperature T. The corresponding delta G value is positive. So if T is greater than T0, then delta G becomes positive. Similarly, let us take a point in the lower segment. This is the temperature. Suppose if T is less than T0, then delta G becomes negative. The thing is, if delta G is positive, then T is greater than T0. If delta G is negative, then T is less than T0. Right? And all these equations are for, all these predictions are for the formation of the metal oxide. What we need is this reaction, the reverse of this reaction. So in this case, this segment, that is if delta G is positive, then the extraction of metal from its metal oxide ore is possible. Whereas if delta G is negative, then the extraction is not possible. So this is the important point we should remember. So if delta G is positive, then it is possible to extract metal oxide into its metal. Whereas if delta G is negative, then it is not possible to extract metal from its metal oxide. Right, now let us see element diagram with an example. In this example, I have chosen two reactions. One is the reduction of silver oxide into silver, and another one is reduction of zinc oxide into zinc. So now let us see the reduction temperatures. Here, for the reduction of silver oxide into silver, the required temperature is T1. For the reduction of zinc oxide into zinc, the required temperature is T2. So as we see from the graph, we can see T2 is greater than T1. This means the temperature required to reduce zinc oxide into zinc takes place at higher temperature when compared with this reaction. In simple, reduction of zinc oxide into zinc takes place at higher temperature when compared with reduction of silver oxide into silver. Now, the most important point is, suppose if you are using any reducing agents, say for example carbon, coke, etc., then it is possible to reduce the zinc oxide relatively low temperature than this T2. That means normally this reaction, this reduction reaction, zinc oxide into zinc is taking place at high temperature. As we can see from the graph, T2 is higher. So if you are using any reducing agent such as carbon, then it can be easily reduced into zinc at relatively low temperature. So the important use of aluminum diagram is it can choose the best reducing agent for the reduction reaction. In addition to that, we can predict what is the temperature required to carry out the reduction reaction. Right now, let us see aluminum diagram in action. So as usual, the aluminum plot is between delta G versus temperature. So here I have taken 5 examples, that is formation of carbon dioxide from carbon monoxide, formation of iron oxide from iron, formation of carbon dioxide from carbon, formation of aluminum oxide from aluminium, formation of carbon monoxide from carbon. So I have taken 5 examples. The graph is plotted between delta G versus temperature. All the delta G values are negative. Of course, I have not drawn this graph to the exact scale. I have given a representative scale only. Right. Now, if you are looking at all these reactions, let us take the first one. Say for example, the formation of carbon dioxide from carbon monoxide. So if you are looking at the plot, it moves from more negative to less negative. Means the delta G value for this reaction is positive, relatively positive. Whereas if you are looking at this reaction, the final reaction, the formation of carbon monoxide from carbon, it moves this direction, means it moves towards less negative to more negative. So the delta G is negative. So what it indicates, the carbon monoxide is relatively more stable when you are comparing with carbon dioxide, because carbon monoxide is having more negative value, negative delta G value. Right. What about the formation of carbon dioxide? If you are looking at the graph, it is the delta G is nearly minus 400. So delta G does not depends on the temperature. Thus delta G is independent of the temperature for the carbon dioxide formation. And finally, let us take the two metals. One is the formation of aluminum oxide from aluminum, and another one is formation of iron oxide from iron. If you are comparing these two, delta G value for the aluminum oxide is more negative when you are comparing with the iron oxide. Right? So this means aluminum oxide is more stable when you are comparing with the iron oxide. That means iron oxide can be reduced into iron by using aluminium. So this is the process what we call by the name Thermit process. We have studied about the Thermit process. In the Thermit process, iron oxide can be reduced into iron by using aluminium, because aluminium oxide is more stable. It is having delta G more negative when you are comparing with the iron. Right. What about this one? If you are taking the carbon to carbon monoxide reaction, that is having more negative value, more negative delta G value. So if you are using this one, this reaction, if you are taking the second reaction, that is reduction of iron oxide into iron by using carbon, this is also possible. This is also possible. Iron oxide can be easily reduced into iron by using carbon, right? In this two reaction, which one is the best reducing agent among the two, carbon and aluminium? Right, naturally carbon is the best reducing agent when compared with aluminium, because here the formation of carbon monoxide is in the more negative side when we are comparing with the aluminium oxide. So carbon can act as the good reducing agent, but in the thermal process we are using aluminium to reduce iron oxide into iron. Right, now let us see the important highlights of the Elegant diagram. Right, so lower the position in the Elegant diagram means delta G, then higher will be the stability of the metal. So we can see from the graph, aluminum oxide is more stable when we are comparing with the iron oxide, because aluminum oxide is having the delta G more negative than the iron oxide. Right, delta G increases with the temperature. So normally if you are increasing the temperature, then delta G also increases. This means stability is reduced. So high temperature is necessary to reduce metal oxides into metal. Right, and delta G for the formation of carbon monoxide decreases with temperature, means the reaction for the formation of carbon to carbon monoxide is used to reduce the metal oxide into metal, because it has the more negative delta G value. Right, suppose if you are comparing the curves of two metals, say for example if you are comparing the curves of aluminum oxide and iron oxide, then the metal with lower delta G will reduce the oxide with the higher delta G. So in the example, you see aluminum oxide is having lower delta G when you are comparing with the iron. So aluminum can reduce iron oxide. That is actually happening in the thermate process. The lower the delta G, the greater the effectiveness of the reducing agent. So we have compared whether carbon or aluminum, which one is the good reducing agent for iron oxide. So carbon is having relatively lower delta G value, so it can act as an effective reducing agent to reduce iron oxide when compared with aluminum. So thank you students.